Hello, my dear students. Welcome to Fluid Mechanics lecture series. I am your Swamis. Today we are discussing fluid property called viscosity. This property that is exhibited by the fluid that is coming into picture only when the fluid is in motion. So it depends upon the molecular structure of fluid. Let me explain this with an example. When two solid bodies are in contact and they move relative to each other, then we experience a resistance to the motion that is just because of the friction. So similar behavior we can expect in the fluid also. When the fluid moves relative to a surface, or when the fluid moves over a surface, or when two fluids moves relative to each other like air and water, some resistance is offered by the fluid against the motion. The internal resistance within the fluid which opposes the motion, that is called viscosity. Viscosity of the fluid that is directly related to the pumping power required to transport the liquid in a pipe or to move a body through a fluid. So if you are comparing the energy for pumping water with respect to that of pumping cement slurry, water is less viscous, so energy spent for pumping water is less compared to the energy which is used to pump cement slurry. So let me explain this with an example. Let us consider the viscosity of the different type of fluids. So in the first figure you can see that the oil that is flowing freely to this jar. That is because here viscosity is very less. Whereas in this figure you can see that this fluid is reluctant to fall because of the higher viscosity. So this can be explained in more detail by considering these two figures. So in this here, because of the low viscosity, it will take less time to fill this jar. Whereas due to the high viscosity, it is taking more time to fill the jar. So viscosity can be defined as the resistance offered by one layer of the fluid or the other, or it can also be defined as the resistance to fluid motion caused by momentum transfer between the adjacent layers and the cohesive forces between the molecules. Or in other words, we can define that viscosity is the resistance to deformation. Now let us consider the influence of pressure and temperature on viscosity. In the case of liquids, when we are increasing the temperature, the viscosity gets reduced. For example, if you are heating, so if you are heating the heat, what happens is when the temperature increases, it is flowing like oil or it is flowing freely. So this can be explained by drawing a graph between the viscosity and temperature for a liquid. In the case of liquid, since the molecules attain more energy, that means cohesive forces are less or more relative motion is possible. So for a liquid, this viscosity that is getting reduced with respect to the increasing temperature. Whereas the pressure does not have much effect on the viscosity of the liquid and gas. In the case of gases, when the temperature increases, the collision between the molecules increases. That is why in the case of gases, viscosity increases with respect to the increasing temperature. So to conclude, we can say that the viscosity of the liquid decreases and viscosity of the gases increases with respect to the increasing temperature. Now let us discuss about the concept of dynamic viscosity. The basic concept of dynamic viscosity can be discussed by considering the difference between the solid and fluid. In solids, shear stress is directly proportional to shear strain, and the proportionality constant that is called the modulus of rigidity of the material. Whereas in fluid, shear stress is proportional to the rate of shear stress. This can be explained by considering fluid between the two plates where one plate is stationary and other plate is moving. So these two plates are separated by a distance L, and this is filled with the fluid. Because of this force, the upper plate is moving with velocity v. Area A, that is the contact area, that is the area where the fluid is in contact with the plate. Now shear stress, we can say that shear stress equal to force by area. Now one plate is stationary and other plate is moving. So there is a fluid layer which is adjacent to this stationary plate. So this particular fluid layer is very closely attached to the stationary plate so that its velocity equals 0, or we can have to assume no slip condition. Whereas upper plate is moving with velocity v, so the fluid layer which is very close to that have the velocity u equal to v. So velocity is varying from u equal to 0 at the bottom plate and u will be equal to v, or the maximum velocity nearer to the moving plate. So you can see a velocity gradient which varies from u equal to 0 at the bottom plate to u equal to v at the top. So there is a velocity gradient that is existing. So this velocity gradient we can call as du by dy, or it is proportional to v by L. So shear deformation d theta by dt, that is equivalent to du by dy or v by L. For a steady laminar flow, we can write uy by y, that is equal to v by L. So that means uy, which indicates the velocity at any point y from the bottom plate. So uy by y, that is equal to v by L. So v by L is the velocity gradient. Since this distance is very small, the velocity is varying linear. So we can write the velocity at any point equal to y into v by L. So v by L is the velocity gradient and uy is the velocity at the position y. Angular deformation or rate of deformation of the fluid element, that is proportional to du by dy, or we can say shear stress is proportional to du by dy. So du by dy, which stands for the shear deformation. So this can be written as tau equal to mu into du by dy, where mu means it is the proportionally constant, or we can call that is a dynamic viscosity. So fluid which obey this equation, that is called Newtonian fluid, because there is a linear relationship that is existing between the velocity gradient and the shear stress. So the fluid which obeys this equation is called Newtonian fluid after Sir Isaac Newton. This equation is called Newton's law of viscosity. So from this equation we can say that shear stress make a linear relationship with the velocity gradient. Now what is this mu? Mu is called absolute viscosity or dynamic viscosity, or we can call as coefficient of viscosity. So there are different type of fluids are available, because the molecular structure of water is different from that of honey. Viscosity varies from low value to high value depending upon the molecular structure. So it is low value for water, but it is very high value for honey. Now let us consider the unit of viscosity. The Newton's law of viscosity, that is tau equal to mu into du by dy, where tau is the shear stress and mu is the viscosity and du by dy is the velocity gradient. So in Newton's law of viscosity, or for Newtonian fluid, the shear stress is maintaining a linear relationship with the velocity gradient. Or in other words, we can define the unit of viscosity as it is the shear stress producing unit velocity gradient. Or in other words, so the coefficient of dynamic viscosity can be defined as the shear force per unit area. Shear force per unit area means the shear stress required to drag one layer of fluid with unit velocity past another layer a unit distance. So that means viscosity means it is the shear stress required to produce unit velocity gradient. So if you are elaborating this, that is mu equal to shear stress by velocity gradient. So if you are expanding, we will get it is shear stress means F by A. So unit of F means it is Newton, A is meter square, and unit of velocity, that is meter per second, and dy the unit is meter. So dynamic viscosity mu, the unit is Newton per meter square into second, or it is called Pascal second. So Newton per meter square is Pascal, so it is Pascal second. So the unit of dynamic viscosity is Pascal second. In engineering applications, we have to come across different type of small unit. So one of the small unit commonly used to represent viscosity is poise. So the relationship is 10 poise equal to 1 Pascal second, and still smaller unit, that is centipoise. So 100 centipoise equal to 1 poise. All of you please be careful about the conversion, and if the conversion is not known to you, then it is very difficult to work out the problems. In fluid mechanics and as well as in heat transfer problems, another type of common unit that we are using, that is kinematic viscosity. So kinematic viscosity is represented by mu by rho. So what is mu? Mu is the dynamic viscosity and rho is the density. We have to divide Pascal second, or we have to divide Newton second per meter square by kilogram per meter cube. So whenever you are relating Newton and kilogram, you have to make proper conversions. Newton is related to kilogram by means in such a way that for 1 kilogram mass, if you are giving g acceleration, the resulting force is Newton. We can find out the unit of kinematic viscosity as meter per second, or smaller unit is centimeter per second, or it is called Stoke. So fluids can be divided into Newtonian fluids and non-Newtonian fluids. Newtonian fluids means which obey Newton's law of viscosity. So this is called Newton's law of viscosity. So here shear stress is maintaining a linear relationship with velocity gradient. So for non-Newtonian fluid, the relationship between the shear stress and the velocity gradient non-linear. And non-Newtonian fluids can be divided into time-independent fluids and time-dependent fluids. For non-Newtonian fluids, examples are, from the foodstuffs we can take the examples like mayonnaise, ketchup, similarly cosmetics, paste. From the biofluids we can take blood, saliva, then honey. So for all non-Newtonian fluids, shear stress is maintaining a non-linear relationship with the velocity gradient. However, there are some sort of fluids where viscosity is getting affected by time. So they are called time-dependent fluids, thixotropic and rheopatic. So thixotropic fluid means paint, enamels. We are applying more shear, then we are able to cover more surface. That means viscosities get reduced. So for thixotropic fluids, viscosities get reduced with the velocity gradient, whereas rheopatic fluid, the shear stress that is getting increased with the velocity gradient or viscosity getting increased with respect to time. And dilatant fluids, Bingham fluid and pseudoplastic fluids, they are time independent fluids. Now go to the classification of fluid based on viscosity. So general equation which connect the viscosity and velocity gradient, that is tau equal to mu into du by dy. So this equation is called Newton's law of viscosity. So the fluid which obey this equation, that is called Newtonian fluid, and you can see that there is a linear relationship that is existing between the shear stress and velocity gradient. So to have a general expression, what we can do, we can express this equation in terms of tau equal to c into du by dy raised to n plus b, and this equation is called power law of fluid. Now let us define these constants. The constants n, that is called power index, and b, that is called additive constant, and c, that is the consistency index. In order to represent the variation of tau and du by dy for different type of fluids, we can plot tau versus du by dy. So for ideal fluid, there is no viscosity. So for ideal fluid, the relationship is coinciding with this axis. For Newtonian fluid, n equal to 1 and c equal to mu, that is viscosity, and b equal to 0. So our expression will be tau equal to mu into du by dy. So if you are plotting tau versus du by dy, you will get a straight line which indicates that the relationship between tau and du by dy is linear for Newtonian fluid. And now let us consider the slope of this line. Tan alpha, or the slope of this line, will give you the viscosity of the corresponding fluid. If n is less than 1, what will happen is this equation will be non-linear. So that represents non-Newtonian fluid or pseudoplastic fluid. So in that cases, C value will be calling as apparent viscosity or mu A. So if you are plotting tau versus du by dy for this pseudoplastic fluid or for this non-Newtonian fluid, then you will be having a nonlinear curve. For an example, if you are taking coffee in a cup and we are moving, the coffee started to spill over the cup. In that cases, what happened is, if you are increasing the movement or if you are increasing the velocity gradient, viscosity get reduced. Similar case we can observe, that is if n is greater than 1. So if n is greater than 1, again the equation becomes nonlinear. N is greater than 1 and b equal to 0. So the equation will be nonlinear. So C value will be represented as apparent viscosity. So in that cases, shear stress increases when this velocity gradient increases because n is greater than 1. So if you are relating tau and du by dy, you will get a curve like this, which shows a nonlinear relationship between tau and velocity gradient. So that means if the velocity gradient increases, shear stress that is also increasing. So that means viscosity that is also getting increased. So that you can observe in the case of starch solution and all. So when the velocity gradient increases, it becomes thicker. There are certain fluids where we have to give some initial energy, then only it will be flowing like a fluid. So ideal plastic is an example. That means if you are heating the plastic, then it will be flowing like a fluid. So similar case we can observe in the case of paste. That means in the case of toothpaste, in the normal condition it won't flow, but when we are started pressing, then it will be flowing like a fluid. So for ideal plastic fluid, it will be a straight line. There are some non-Newton fluid where viscosity changes with respect to time. So that type of fluid, that is called thixotropic fluid. So in thixotropic fluid, this apparent viscosity that will be decreasing with respect to time. For example, paint. So thixotropic fluid, that is also a non-Newtonian fluid. Here what happened is the viscosity or apparent viscosity that get reduced with respect to time. In the case of paint, after some time what will happen is, if you are applying more shear, then we can cover more surface. That means viscosity that get decreased. And opposite to that, that is we'll be calling as rheopectic fluid. So it is just opposite of thixotropic fluid, where apparent viscosity that is increases with the time. Gypsum solution, bentonite solution, etc. are the examples. Now let us consider the different type of fluids which you can categorize based on the value of viscosity. So we can classify the fluid based on the relationship between the shear stress and velocity gradient. So we have the ideal fluid, that means it is non-viscous, no shear stress, and we have Newtonian fluid like air, water, kerosene, etc. And we have non-Newtonian fluids. Non-Newtonian fluids, the relationship between shear stress and velocity gradient, they are non-linear, whereas Newtonian fluids, relationship between shear stress and velocity gradient, linear. Non-Newtonian fluids are again classified into time independent fluids as dilatant, pseudoplastic, etc. Whereas time dependent fluids are thixotropic and rheopectic. Dilatant fluids, that is called shear thickening fluid, the quicksand or cornstarch, etc. When we are applying more shear, then it becomes thicker. So it is called shear thickening fluid. Whereas pseudoplastic will be called shear thinning fluid. For example, paint. If you are applying more shear, what happens? Its viscosities get reduced. So because of the nonlinear nature of shear stress and velocity gradient, in non-Newtonian fluids, instead of dynamic viscosity or instead of viscosity, we are saying apparent viscosity. In thixotropic fluid, viscosities get reduced with respect to time, whereas in rheopectic fluids, viscosity increases with the time. Examples of rheopectic fluids are gypsum solution, bentonite solution, etc. There are some other material that is called viscoelastic material. So it behaves like Newtonian fluid, whereas when the shear force changes suddenly, it becomes like plastic. So we are just concluding this session. We have enough discussion about the viscosity and Newtonian fluids and different type of non-Newtonian fluids. So we'll continue with class by solving the problems. So with that, thank you. Await your comments.